This is a first quorum call for the City Council. It is 3 minutes after 10. Would council members please report to the council chambers? We have a busy agenda today, and so council members, would you please report to the council chambers? This is your first quorum call. Now 13 minutes after 10. We still have only 3 members present. We need 7 for a quorum. Would council members in the building please report to the council chambers in order that we begin presentations and proceed with the agenda. This is a third quorum call. Council members, would you please come to the council chambers? quorum. Good morning. This is a meeting of the City Council of the City of Los Angeles on this Friday, July 21st in the year 2000. I'm Councilman Rudy Savornich Jr., Assistant President Pro Tem, serving as presiding officer until the arrival of President Pro Tem Ruth Galanter, and due to the excused absence of Council President John Ferraro, who is recuperating from surgery and is coming along quite nicely. There are 15 council districts in the city. We are currently being broadcast on LA City View Channel 35 and being monitored by Council Phone. Council does meet Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays beginning at 10 o'clock. The repeat of the council session is at 7:30 in the evening on those same days, and also beginning Sunday, all three council meetings are replayed beginning at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're still a few members short of a quorum. However, we do have 3 presentations this morning, and so to begin, I would like to recognize the councilman of the 14th District, Councilman Nick Pacheco, for a presentation. Councilman?
Mr. President and colleagues, it's a great pleasure to be here to present an individual who has earned all of our respect and a great credit of recognition today. Today we're going to be honoring one of the first female letter carriers in Boyle Heights. Her name is Marian Rodriguez. She's been servicing the Target Neighborhood Initiative area for the past 28 years, started her service 30 years ago. We have quite a number of people here who are going to join us in the presentation. I first want to introduce Mr. Larry Brown. He is the president of the National Association of Letter Carriers, Local 24. He's on the Board of Trustees for the National Association of Letter Carriers and is one of the most successful presidents in the union's 134-year history. Always, as we always want to be, very supportive of the rank and file. So he's joined us here to recognize Marianne Rodriguez. Marianne, where are you right now? Okay, here's Marianne. And we will be, Mr. Brown will come up and say a few words in regards to Marianne Rodriguez. Mr. Brown?
Good morning. First, we'd like to thank the City Council, Councilman Nick Pacheco, and also, Councilman, would like to congratulate you on your anniversary, first year in office, and from what we're hearing from the community, you're doing a terrific job. The young lady we're here this morning to recognize and give her dues is Marianne Rodriguez, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Marianne. Like the councilman stated, she has over 30 years in the Postal Service. She has 28 years on the same route, 28 years, meaning that she's seen kids and grandkids, generations. So she's been just like part of the family. And speaking of family, she's also the mother figure at the Boyle Post Office, where she's always taking up a collection for the sick or a newborn child, always trying to bring the station together, showing her concern. She also has a son who's a letter carrier and also a union member and also a shop steward for us. So her family is a postal family. Marianne also, on a yearly basis, walk in the Mexican Independence Parade that the letter carriers participate in on a yearly basis, and she's one of our most energetic walkers that we have on the walk. And so without any further delay, because we have plenty of other speakers, but on behalf of the more than 5,000 letter carriers of Branch 24 that represents Los Angeles and surrounding areas, we would like to congratulate Marianne on this day, her day. Marianne, congratulations.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Larry. We'd also like to bring up the Manager of Operations Support, Mike Madrigal. He started his career as a letter carrier 10 years ago in the Van Nuys Division. He's also an active union member. Mike Madrigal.
Thank you, Councilman Pacheco, for having this day for one of our postal employees. Fellow council members, a few weeks ago, the LA Times wrote a report about the service in Los Angeles of overnight delivery. It was a 95% rate. Without becoming self-serving on making that statement, that service achievement would not have happened if it wasn't for employees such as Marianne Rodriguez. These things happen because employees give their dedication, employees give everything they can, but in this case, in this particular example, we have an employee who remained on the route for 28 years. That's unheard of in our operations today. It's this way she was able to establish the communications within Mr. Pacheco's constituents and do things that with the community. She is a prime example of the employees that we have in our company that make the Postal Service so unique. I represent Mr. Al Iniguez, the district manager, and he has given me a certificate to present to Marianne Rodriguez. And let me read you the words that Mr. Iniguez has written out for Ms. Rodriguez. It gives me great pleasure to extend my personal greetings on the occasion of your retirement from the United States Postal Service. Your many years of personal endeavor and contribution to our efforts for a better post office are greatly appreciated. I take this opportunity to express my appreciation for your services to the Los Angeles Post Office and extend my warmest wishes for a long and happy retirement. Sincerely, Al Iniguez. Marianne? One last hurrah for Ms. Rodriguez is something we do in our company. We provide 10-year, 20-year, 30-year pins. And today I want to present Ms. Rodriguez with the 30-year pin, which symbolizes her 30 years in the United States Postal Service. Thank you. Thank you.
It's not over yet, Marianne, so hold on. We also like to bring in Marianne's carrier foreman from the Boyle Heights Post Office, who's been with the office for 15 years, A.C. Ogaro.
Good morning. I'm here this morning representing all the employees at Boyle Heights Station and the U.S. Postal Service. But firstly, let me congratulate Mr. Pacheco, because I work in this district. I've seen tremendous changes, and I hope that they will continue. However, today is Marianne's Day. Dedication, commitment, honor, and integrity. That's the Marianne I know. She deserves it. She earned it. It's hers. Marianne, I want to thank you on behalf of all the employees at Boyle Station. Our best. We're going to miss you. We're going to miss you, and you know that. But you enjoy what you have earned. Thank you.
Also, on behalf of our local congressional representative, we have Pedro Carrillo here to do a presentation. On behalf of Congresswoman Lucille Roybal Allard, Mr. Carrillo.
Thank you, Councilman. It is indeed an honor to be here and join with some of the leadership of the postal carriers like Larry Brown and Mike Madrigal. And again, I want to reiterate, today is Marianne Rodriguez's day. I wanted to award her with a small token of our appreciation. The Congresswoman is indeed in Washington, D.C. doing what you elected her to do. That's represent you in Washington, D.C. We do have the distinction of serving on the Postal Committee, and with that, it just makes me very proud to know that you've dedicated your life to letter carriers. In recognition of your 30-year career with the United States Postal Service, and in honor of your 28 years of dedicated service to the Boyle Heights community, on behalf of Congresswoman Lucille Roybal Allard, I'd like to present you with the Certificate of Congressional Recognition. Thank you, Councilman.
As you can tell, there are many people here. We also have some people in the audience from the community, from the TNI area, who came out to support Marianne. She has been a valuable individual to this community, and they wanted to be here, so I want to give them a little recognition for coming out and supporting Marianne. Also, we want to acknowledge Joe Gonzalez, who's one of the letter carriers in the Boyle Heights office, who worked so well with our office here at City Hall to make this day happen. Personally, myself, I would like to tell you a little bit about Marianne. She is someone who viewed her route as not only a place to do her job, but a place where she found a sense of family and unity among the community. Marianne was the type of person that if individuals needed assistance in getting their letters out, she would, on her own, with her own money, assist them by providing stamps and delivering them to their house. Marianne also, before they were televised, was part of a high-speed chase, I understand. This predated the fascination that we had recently with televising every high-speed chase, but one time, in the beginning of the month, she was delivering her mail, as they say in the postal business, through rain, snow, or sleet. And before she knew it, someone had jumped in her Jeep and took off with the mail. Marianne decided to do what came naturally, which was to protect her job and protect the service that she wanted to provide by retrieving the mail. And so she got went down to the corner of Mott Street there in Boyle Heights and got another individual to get in the van or to provide her a ride in his van, and they chased down the Jeep, and the young individual who was driving the Jeep actually ended up crashing the Jeep. And of course, Marianne ran towards the mail and made sure it was all secured. And it's very important that we recognize that when this happened, it was a time when a lot of the pension checks were being delivered for people who worked on the railroads, and also obviously the general relief checks that were being delivered. So thanks to Marianne, everyone received their checks in the mail that day. I'm sure someone else came over and took care of the Jeep, but Marianne definitely took care of the community, and for that, we are honoring her here today. So I want to introduce Marianne to you. Marianne, I want to present this resolution on behalf of the City Council. I am not going to read everything, but I am going to read that now therefore be it resolved that by adoption of this resolution, the members of the Los Angeles City Council do hereby commend and congratulate Marianne Rodriguez for her 30 years of dedicated public service and devotion to the United States Postal Service and the community of Boyle Heights, and extend best wishes to her on the occasion of her retirement. Marianne Rodriguez, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I present this resolution, and thank you so much as a Boyle Heights resident myself for all your service to my community.
First of all, I want to thank everybody that has supported me, my God that stood right by me, my family, my community, and I want to thank all the people that got involved with honoring me for this service that I enjoyed for 30 years. It was my pleasure and my dedication that I got involved with whatever was needed at the post office. I'd be the first one to raise my hand, and just enjoyed all the 30 years. 30 years ago, I needed a job. The post office was willing to give me one, and I really appreciated my union that stood behind me. I never had any problems with the post office or any of my community, but I know that they have done a tremendous job. My family always was behind me, and my community, because they were also my family. And I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank the City Council for having me here and listening to the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, colleagues, and obviously we all wish her a good and a long, prosperous retirement, and hopefully a joyful one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Pacheco, and congratulations, Ms. Rodriguez. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
The chair recognizes Councilman Padilla for a presentation. Councilman?
That's okay. You guys want to move over a little bit? This way. We can get in the camera. And you'll be on TV tonight. Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues. I often stand here and say it's a privilege or it's an honor, and on a special occasion, a privilege and an honor. But today it's a privilege and an honor and a thrill to recognize this group of young men and women behind me They are the wrestling team from the Boys and Girls Club of the San Fernando Valley. And the reason they're deserving of this honor is because they're also our state champions. On the weekend of May 5th, 6th, and 7th, they traveled to Fresno, California as a team. There's 54 members of the wrestling team and the wrestling program at the Boys and Girls Club, which is located in Pacoima, ages 9 through 14. 28 of them entered the competition. And of the 28, 10 placed as champions in their different categories. So 10 of them standing behind me are champions, but every single one of them is part of the state championship team. They brought home first place in the state championship. So I thought it was very, very important to bring them into council and recognize them for their accomplishments this year as state champions representing the Northeast San Fernando Valley, but also for the years and years of success this program has had. It's been at the Northeast Valley Boys and Girls Club for many years. They've been champions before, and they will be champions again. But unfortunately, like a lot of the good things in our city, they don't get the attention and the credit that they deserve. And so it's an honor and a pleasure for me to bring them here to the full council for this recognition and to introduce to you not only the wrestlers, but their coaches and their coordinator, Coaches Terry Gillard, Coach John Paez, and the coordinator, Diane Downey, and maybe bring them forward to say a few words.
I like the first, in a lot of programs, people say kids are first. So before I say anything and thank anyone, I'd like to, for all of you to hear something from our Captain Ricky Aguirre. Go, Rick.
I don't know but what they say.
I don't know but what they say.
The Tiger wrestlers are here to stay.
The Tiger wrestlers are here to stay.
We know the Tigers are number one.
We know the Tigers are number one.
The Tiger wrestlers have a lot of fun.
The Tiger wrestlers have a lot of fun.
No drugs.
No drugs.
No gangs.
No games.
Education.
Education.
Feels good.
Feels good.
Is good.
Is good.
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 Raw.
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 Yeah. I'm going to just say a few words. I'd like to thank the City Council. It's a pleasure living in the San Fernando Valley. We live in Sylmar, Pacoima, and other surrounding communities. It took 11 years to travel up and down the state of California, and we brought it home. As large as this city is, it's the first time this plaque has ever came to our city. Out of 3,600 wrestlers attending that state championship tournament, we traveled to Fresno and brought this back for the first time. And I'd like to thank the wonderful wrestlers that are a part of this program and the wonderful staff, Coach John Paez and Diane Downey. And I'd like to thank also Mr. Padilla here, Councilman Padilla. John, would you like to say a few words?
Hello, my name is John Paez. I am one of the wrestling coaches of the program. I want to thank Mr. Padilla, give us the opportunity and the privilege to be in the presence of him as well as the city councilman. It is a privilege and it is an honor to be here, but as well, I want to thank you all because it is so important for these kids to see, other than the valley itself, what's going on here, and it gives them an opening and opportunity for them to excel and achieve. That's basically, not only is our wrestling program for that, but it's also to help them to expand their horizons in life. And again, I do want to thank everybody for giving us the opportunity to be here, as well as again to this gentleman here, and keep up the good work.
Hi, I'm Diane Downey. I work for Boys and Girls Club in San Fernando Valley. My apologies for Mr. Chase. He was planning on being here this morning, but he was drawn away at another meeting. So I would like to thank you for bringing us down here and these children, because I'm sure it's a thrill for them. And thank you, Councilman Padilla.
Mr. President, colleagues, the California State Kids Freestyle Wrestling Champions for the year 2000. Thank you very much. We do have certificates for all the wrestlers and all the coaches, but as you see, there's a good number of them, so we'll do this in the back in the press room. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, and congratulations to our young wrestlers. The chair would like to recognize Councilwoman Chick and Goldberg for a presentation.
Hal Fishman, will you please come up? Is the mic on?
Yes.
Come here. You'll have to move this one. It's your turn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you can... Colleagues, a special man and a special occasion and a familiar face to us all. Hal Fishman, believe it or not, has been in the broadcasting business for 40 years. And we are honoring him not only for his longevity, but we're honoring him for a history of quality. He's been at KTLA TV since 1965, anchoring News at 10 since 1975. His skills have contributed to KTLA's winning numerous journalistic and broadcasting awards. For instance, the Governor's Award from the Los Angeles Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, the Outstanding Broadcast Journalism Award from the Society of Professional Journalists. The reason, because Hal's, the station, is in Jackie's district, and she went to an event last night, I understand, where you were honored, and she's going to have more words to say. But I'm up here, Hal, because you have been a favorite of mine for many years. I've been a quiet fan out there. This is really, I think, the first official time we've met face-to-face. But besides all of the awards and records, besides that he holds some world aviation records, he's an author, and he's been a political science professor. For me, Hal somehow exudes trustworthiness, and, you know, he's a regular guy who, when he talks to us, says things in a way that are very believable, and I think they are the truth and accurate, and is just an outstanding person with great integrity, something that we want to see all the time in our newscasters and media specialists. So I want to introduce Steve Ramsey, the station manager, and also with Hal, the KTLA news director, Jeff Wald. And before I turn the mic over to Hal, I'm going to turn to our colleague, and then we'll present the certificate.
Well, yesterday morning at KTLA, the newsroom at KTLA was dedicated as the Hal Fishman Newsroom. And it was a wonderfully impressive ceremony involving Hal's colleagues from really news services, even in competitive stations. And one of the most important points after saying the following statistics, which boggled my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't write them down, 150,000 broadcasts and 250,000 stories that he's covered. Can you imagine? 250,000 stories. That's just remarkable in a 40-year span. But I said in my comments, and the only point I want to make today is that many of us have become increasingly disappointed with news on television, as it has become much more sensationalized and, frankly, much more of an entertainment source than a news source. The exception really is the news broadcasts that are anchored by Hal Fishman. And when you watch that show, you get the unmistakable opinion that not only is he reading copy, but he understands the events behind the news, has been following them for years, has an analysis of their role in interpreting the news, and is able, because of his first career as a teacher, to explain it to us, the viewer, in a way that makes the news useful to us as we look at the world around us. And that's truly a gift, and we are very grateful for it. And so,
Signed by all of us, something that we like to do when it's a worthy cause, including the 15 council members, the mayor, and the city clerk. Congratulations on 40 wonderful years. I almost started out by saying, don't worry, this is not a retirement party.
No way.
No, you are still going to deliver all of that quality,
You
but
bet.
congratulations and very, very much deep gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you both.
And that's for you.
Hal, before you begin, there's
Yes.
a couple of council members that would like to say a few words. The chair recognizes Councilman Wax.
Let me add just a bit to what Ms. Goldberg and Ms. Chick said. I think in addition to the incredible professionalism with which that Hal has brought to the news and broadcasting business, I think that there's something more. In a city where everything seems to be transient and people come and go and change happens all the time, there's a constancy and a comfort in knowing the constancy of a presence like yours. I hope this isn't a retirement, because in 10 years you're going to be eligible to be a historic monument, and it's going to be my pleasure to make that motion.
Thank you.
Hal, go right ahead.
Well, obviously, I want to thank all of you for this very great honor. I want you to know that when I first came to Los Angeles, the mayor was Fletcher Bowen. And when I started anchoring the news here in Los Angeles, the name of the mayor was Norris Polson. And so I've been here through numerous administrations, numerous mayors and city council people and supervisors. And I want to thank you for providing so many stories for those 250,000 stories that I have brought to Los Angeles. Also, I might recall that when I started broadcasting in LA, the tallest building in the city of Los Angeles was the City Hall. And that in and of itself says so much about how our city has changed. When I was a student out here, really the one freeway we had was the Arroyo Seco Freeway, the Pasadena Freeway, and that shows you how our city has changed. I don't want to say I've been anchoring the news for a long time, but so many journalists say they were there in Berlin, for example, when the wall came down in 1989, a really momentous occasion in history. I was there when the wall went up in Berlin in 1961. So there have been many, many things that have been happening over these years. But to conclude, I just want you to know this is very, very important to me. As I mentioned at our ceremony yesterday, the dedication of the newsroom to me, and I said that it's very important because of all those 250,000 stories that I've brought to the people of Los Angeles. They're basically written on the wind. I had mentioned that an actor, for example, can do 10 great movies in his or her career, and those movies can be watched by people years and years and years down the line. In the news business, we bring the tremendously important events of our community, of our society, and yet it's written on the wind. My first broadcast is probably somewhere out heading toward the constellation Andromeda, and maybe in 20 million years people will receive it up there somewhere and they'll say, what was that? And it's important to me personally. I just want to share this one emotion with you, that something like this award, this recognition by this august body means a great deal to me, and I want you to know how much I really appreciate that. They did name the newsroom after me yesterday. I thought when I came down here, I thought maybe it was the City Hall. Well, no, I don't want to, all kidding aside now, the last, yes, you have to vote on it. The last thought I want to leave you with is this. You and I both have a very important relationship. You are providing the legislation that's so essential to the well-being of our community. But, and that's what we depend upon you for, you must depend upon us to convey what you do to your constituents, to the people of the city of Los Angeles. And that's why it is vitally important that we, on my end of the business, maintain the objectivity, the credibility, the responsibility to broadcast in the public interest, convenience, and necessity, to bring what you do to the people of Los Angeles. It can only be done by individuals who are dedicated to maintaining the highest standards possible. I promise you that we will continue at KTLA and on News at 10 to maintain the standards that I feel we have maintained over the past years. We are not your adversaries. Many people say the journalistic media should be the adversarial relationship with our government. I don't believe that. I believe our first responsibility is to be the conduit of information of what goes on to our citizens in the local community or state or national. The adversarial relationship comes in investigative reports or in commentary or in analysis. But I promise you, all you members of the council, we will maintain our highest standards as long as I am there on News at 10. I thank you very much for this award today. Thank you.
Are you coming back for some pictures real quickly?
Mr. Holden?
I'm at your disposal.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
I just want to add, I know you're finished, but, you know, we have a lot to say about you, and it's already been said. But there's a lot to say about KTLA for holding on to good talent, good people. Some of the other stations, you know, they kind of move them around, wants to become good. But they when they have something good, they keep it. And I know that Larry McCormick is over there with you.
You bet.
And you guys are outstanding reporters. You're not adversarial. As you stated, you're a conduit for accuracy and the truth, as you stated so well. I think that's a key difference. And your management is so good in keeping you around for us. I thank you.
Let me just mention one quick thing. Larry McCormick and I, since you mentioned Larry McCormick and I have worked together for 30 years. We have been colleagues at KTLA for 30 years. This, to me, is a record I think that is unparalleled for a news team. Stan Chambers has been at KTLA for 53 years. Stan was there when I arrived in 1960, and Stan was there last night. He'll be there tonight. There has been a consistency in our news operation that I think is unparalleled in history. And Larry and I were just talking about that the other day, that it's not so much a news team as with Larry and Stan, and it's a family. And that's how it is with us. And I thank you for making that comment, Councilman Holden.
Thank you, Hal. We'll see you tonight at 10. All right. Mr. Clerk, call the roll.
Burtson, Fuhrer, Galanter, Gober, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Riley, Thomas, Foreign, Schwax, Walters, Faro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. First item of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Without objection, those are approved.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Without objection, so ordered.
On the regular agenda, items number 1 through 6 are items for which public hearings have been held. Item number 1 is an ordinance. Do you wish to hold that on the desk?
We'll hold all the ordinances on the desk until we can get 12 members.
Okay.
If we get to 12 members.
So items number 2 through 6 are before you. Item number 6, a motion is required inasmuch as 2 are on one file, public safety and budget and finance reports. I believe council may adopt both.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call item number 4 special on behalf of Council Members Goldberg.
Fine.
As well as ask for a 30-day continuance on item number 5.
Okay, we have called item number 4 special. Is there any objection for a 30-day continuance on item number 5? Seeing no objection, so ordered on item number 5. Mr. Fuhrer?
We're going to move budget and finance on 6, which is 6B.
Mr. Fuhrer moves on item number 6. Mr. Clerk, what items do we have before us?
Items number 2, 3, and 6, there was a motion.
Okay, colleagues, we have items 2, 3, and 6 before us. A motion by Mr. Fuhrer has been made on number 6. Are there any council members that would like to speak on those 3 items? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, open the roll and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Those items are approved forthwith on those items. Next.
Items number 7 through 29, items number 10 through 29 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Item number 17 requires a motion inasmuch as there are 2 reports in the file and the recommendations differ.
Okay, are there any specials on any of these items? 8 and 9 called special by Mr. Wax. Any other specials? Mr. Fuhrer has moved item number 17A, Budget and Finance Committee report. 17 special by Mr. Holden. Are there any other specials, colleagues?
I understand Councilmember Chick wishes to call item number 20 special.
Item 20 special by Mrs. Chick. Any other specials, colleagues? Mr. Clerk, what do we have before us?
Items number 10 through 16, 18, 19, 20 through 23. I believe there's an amending motion on 24C and 25 through 29.
Okay, is there any objection to the amending motion on item number 24, 24C? Okay, then we will be voting on number 24 as amended when we vote. Mr. Pacheco?
I was going to amend 24E at some point, so do you want to do it now, or do you want to call it special?
We can amend it right now if you'd like, sir.
Well, let's call it special then.
Okay, we'll call 24E then special. Let us open the roll on the items that the clerk has articulated. They have not been called special or continued, and tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Those items are approved forthwith on all of those items. Next, forthwith on all. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 4 called special by Councilmember Goldberg.
Councilwoman Goldberg, why don't we hold that on the desk a moment?
Item number 17 called special.
Item number 17, special, Mr. Holden?
Maybe somebody can give us a report on the amounts of money that we're using to repair the floor at this fire station. And just the other day, we voted for a bond measure, and the bond measure included this renovating this fire station. So if the bond measure should pass, it's already done. You already got a surplus to deal with the issue that was raised by Mr. Fuhrer. So would you have the department explain that to us, please, sir?
Chief, go right ahead.
Battalion Chief Roy Prince, Building Administration with the Fire Department. Right now, the Fire Station 94 project has funds from the Fire Facilities Vacated Trust Fund and our Capital Improvement Fund placed against the project. Right now, just recently, the plans for the redesign and engineering of the apparatus floor and the parking area have just come out. A plan check with Building and Safety. Class A estimate is expected mid-next week, and hopefully they will be in line with our original estimates of approximately $1 million. Along with that, and traveling parallel with this, is the analysis of the project and whether it meets criteria for seismic funding. If in fact it meets seismic funding criteria, we'll be able to recover some of the capital improvement funds that were designated for other projects, needed projects within the fire department. Whether or not the bond passes, Fire Station 94 needs to be repaired, and the plan will be that the apparatus floor will be repaired whether the bond passes or not, and if the bond does, we'll be able to finish other upgrades we plan on doing to make that a regional training site. We will not tear that building down. It's too good a building. The reason we included it into the bond proposal was that we knew we were going to be in the process of doing some repairs there, and it would give us an opportunity to upgrade the entire facility rather than just the floors and some of the things that were affected by repair of the floors.
Mr. Holden, has your questions been answered?
Oh, yes. For an example, if you're going to upgrade the entire facility, that's what you're going to do with $1 million. Is that not correct?
The $1 million is going to cover repairs to the first floor. The apparatus floor, the parking area, the hose tower outside. We're going to have to remove the floor in the kitchen area,
all right,
the offices, and some
What
of
would be the estimate for the additional repairs, if at all, if the bond measure should pass? What else would you need? $5 million?
We're going to add, our intent is, if the bond passes, to add 2 more apparatus bays on the other side of the station, acquire other property to upgrade that station to what we consider state-of-the-art regional fire station.
So how many more pads will it accommodate? You have just, you're limited by space. This configuration, configuration of the expanded facility will be limited by the space, the ground area.
That's right. Our intent is to acquire adjacent property to the facility. Right now, there's a secondary roadway that runs parallel with the medium. There's available property right behind the facility. The owner of the property has put it up for sale. We were under the impression for a long time that a church was going to be built there. That property is now for sale. If the bond passes, we'll approach the owner there.
You just can acquire a portion of it. You can't buy it all because it's a big lot.
I know it's a big lot. That's
Very big lot.
That's something to be negotiated with the owner there.
I just was concerned as to why you didn't let us know this when you were asking us to vote for the bond measure the other day. That you had the $1 million set aside to retrofit Fire Station 94, and that you would perhaps need some additional money for land acquisition, et cetera. That was not discussed when you asked us to vote for the bond measure.
Yeah, we weren't keeping it from anybody. We actually came up in committee with that. That discussion came up.
Okay, Mr. Fewer has moved on item number 17. Is there any other council member that would like to speak on item number 17 because the Budget and Finance Committee report has been moved? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, would you open the roll on item number 17? Oh, one moment. Okay, go right ahead. Open the roll on item number 17A, Budget and Finance Committee report, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That item is approved forthwith. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Goldberg.
Yes, I'd like to have 22 go forthwith, and I'd like to reconsider 23 because we left out putting city attorney in the list on the task force, and I'd like to move to add it and then have us vote on it again.
22 has been sent forthwith. Is there any objection to reconsidering item number 23 at this time?
It was just an inadvertence that the task force did not include the city attorney's office, and we just want to add that.
Okay, is there any objection to reconsidering the item?
Mr. President.
Mr. Pacheco, are you going to object? Otherwise, we'll bring it back before.
No, the police department is requested to be heard on item number 22. Is there a reason, is there any particular reason?
22 has been sent forward. We're on 23 now. Would you like to reconsider 22 also?
Well, I just know that they were requesting to be heard, and
Okay, why don't we reconsider item number 23 first, and then we'll deal with number 22. Item 23 is again before us. Councilwoman Goldberg, you have an amendment?
Yes, in the first item, it says instruct the Housing Department after consultation with the Housing Crisis Task Force, Department of Building Safety, Planning Department, then it should say, and the city attorney.
Okay, very good. We have item number 23 again before us as amended by Councilwoman Goldberg. Is there any other council member who would like to speak? Councilwoman Walters, would you like to speak on item number 23 as amended? I see your button pushed. Okay, so item number 23 as amended by Councilwoman Goldberg is again before us. Mr. Clerk, open the roll and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That item is approved forthwith on item number 23. Mr. Pacheco has made a request to have item number 22 reconsidered. Correct, Mr. Pacheco?
actually, I think the police department wanted to put something on the record before we approve item 22, and I just wanted to know if there was any objection to giving them that opportunity.
Is there any objection to reconsidering item number 22? Councilwoman Goldberg objects. We will have to call a roll on this item. Councilman Walters.
Speak to the motion.
I don't object to hearing this. In fact, I object to the police department not being able to speak to it. And I think that maybe we need to hear the particulars of the case, because we're just dealing with what's in the published here in the council agenda. There's no report on it that I received.
Okay, since we need 10 votes to reconsider this item, council, and so there has been an objection, so let us prepare the roll to reconsider item number 22. We need 10 votes to reconsider. Mr. Clerk, open the roll. Tabulate the vote.
8 ayes, 3 noes.
That item fails. The item is not before us. Next item.
Item number 4, called special by Councilmember Goldberg.
Councilwoman Goldberg, item number 4.
It just would have been a can of worms all over again. Yes, on item number 4, I just had one comment to make. I think it's a good thing that we're doing this, but I do want to just keep reiterating that while I was at the working for a supervisor, we did a complete and entire fiscal audit of the Sheriff's Department, which this is not. This is a good step. I'm not objecting to it, but I really urge, since you will all last, many of you will be here long after I'm gone, that you seriously consider identifying the money and doing that. This was not against the department. It turned out the department had resources it had been looking for to use, but once budgets get so big, sometimes it is hard to keep track, and when you do that, you think you don't have money to do things you want to be able to do. It did not result in the Sheriff's Department losing $1, but it gave them an opportunity to reprogram dollars that in fact were not being spent because people had lost track of the size of that budget. And I just urge that as we look at this, we seriously consider at some point very soon a complete fiscal audit of the department and all other very large departments, because when you don't do that, even though everybody's trying hard, you don't necessarily know what you have, and you have resources sometimes that are not being used because you don't know where they are.
Thank you, Councilwoman. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Yes, I wanted to ask how this item and this issue is related to some of the PREMA issues that Governmental Efficiency Committee has been hearing, and if staff that's involved in this could come forward to address that question. So I would think from PREMA General Services, and I know I'd spoken to some people about the going live date of October 1st being delayed several weeks. What we heard, colleagues in Governmental Efficiency Committee, is PREMA, the program, and Mr. Wax, you remember this well, the program that took quite a while to get up and running and is really doing what it was intended to do, and that's to save a lot of taxpayer dollars by centralizing our purchasing and our warehousing of goods and supplies. And we're right on target pretty much, working out problems as they come. There have been some issues with LAPD because the changes being asked for ask for processes in a system that are extremely different from what LAPD does now. And what's being shown, colleagues, is that the internal controls within LAPD that puts the brakes on ordering that happens from a variety of different arenas, I think 18 different stations are doing their own ordering, that it's very difficult for them to be fitting into this centralized oversight, which we need and want them to. So, is this one of the things that's relating to the changes that I've been hearing need to be made to FMIS, some of the changes that the controller is being asked to be made, and in part contributing to the slowing down of our timeline on PREMA? And just if you could connect the two for me.
Sure. Robert Jensen, Department of General Services. I'm the PREMA program manager. LAPD is experiencing problems in implementing cost control. The way that PREMA, the SMS system, works is that we do encumbrances on POs. They currently do not have a system which allows them to do cost control at a divisional level. The way we've designed the SMS system and the interfaces with the financial management information system is to do budget control of the issuance of purchase orders at the department level. That's the way the requirements were originally written 2 years ago. That's when we went on an RFP. That's the way it's been designed, configured, tested, and that's the way it currently works. We're currently in parallel testing and getting very close to implementation. Depending on how these changes go in, if you're simply talking about tracking expense at a divisional level for the LAPD, there really is limited impact on the SMS system, and we can go live as originally planned. If we're talking about making major changes in terms of SMS has to do budget checking before the release of a PO at a divisional level, there will be a major impact, a major delay. I'm not sure. I've read the tech spec, and it's either or. I'm not sure which way we're going with that.
Okay, thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Fuhr.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that one of the issues that arose in committee, and this is really in response to some of Ms. Goldberg's comments, was the importance of doing a broader audit of the department. And there were two things said at the hearing, just to be clear. One was that the necessary predicate to such an audit was doing the steps that are delineated in the report, and without these steps, you couldn't have an effective audit later on. And so we felt that was an important thing from which to build. And the other point that was made is that if we were, once these steps are put in place to pursue an audit of the department, that the amount of money necessary to do that would be far greater than that which was contemplated in the motion. So we thought we'd take the things in sequence, do this first, and then perhaps as part of the next budget process or beyond, identify how to do an audit that was most effective for all of us in the city. Does that jibe, staff, with what we discussed, do you think? I want to be sure I report accurately with what transpired. I think that's pretty much the essence of it.
I would concur with that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Fuhr. The chair recognizes Councilman Holden.
Did the police department, at least the police chief, have any comments, Commission, regarding this recommendation?
Ray Holloman, Commanding Officer from Fiscal Operations. I don't know what the chief would say specific to this issue. Our view with respect to PREMA and the whole need for an accounting system is the fact that the SIM system, as originally presented to us at its inception, had a very strong accounting component, which, as the system begins to come to fruition, we are not seeing. So we are very much being put in a position of having to play catch-up for accounting features that were supposed to be in SIMS or that we were told were going to be in SIMS, which now aren't there. In addition, the whole PREMA project has totally changed the accounting environment within the police department. Whereas before we used to do accounting based on bulk deliveries to a single point, excuse me, we now have an accounting transaction associated with each and every delivery of user quantities, which is a huge change in the police department. SIMS does have some expedited features for the payment of vendors, and fortunately so, because now the end users who previously were used to only ordering commodities predicated on their needs now will in essence have to become, to a certain extent, warehousemen and accountants, in that they're going to have to be familiar with the city's accounting structure in placing their electronic orders. They're going to have to follow up and specifically acknowledge receipt of materials within the PREMA SIM system in order to expedite payments to vendors, and these are all tasks which previously they were not required to perform. So the entire accounting delivery, material delivery environment within the police department is changing dramatically.
Say anything. Do you support this concept or not?
The PREMA concept?
This one that's before us, the Budget and Finance Committee recommendation.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. The chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez. Okay, let's hold that. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick for a second time.
I want to get back to the comment about there's the potential, depending on the changes that LAPD and the controller work out to the system, that it might end up affecting PREMA more and slowing it down. And you won't know that until when? Until the controller and LAPD have this conversation and have a period of working things out? What's the timeline on figuring out what those modifications referenced in number 2 are going to be?
We are in meeting with the controller at least weekly, and we have ongoing dialogue with them. We're treading on new ground here in the fact that we're exploring the potential for the budget module of FMIS, which was originally there when FMIS was brought up, but has never been used. So,
excuse me for 1 minute. See, here, What I heard was 2 years in advance, all city departments were told the changes that were going to be made. Did I understand that correctly?
The requirements were gathered 2 years ago. We interviewed over 200
And then there
people
seems
at
to
that
be a misunderstanding that LAPD thought that originally Sims was going to have a different capacity that it has ended up having.
We never intended to implement an accounting system. The accounting system for the City of Los Angeles is the Financial Management Information System. We're simply implementing an inventory system.
purchasing and- right.
purchasing and an accounts payable system.
See, where I have a problem with what I'm hearing from LAPD is as follows. All city departments have gone through some pain and difficulty making change. It's always difficult to make change. The fire department, Department of Transportation are two other examples of departments that have had specific issues, but they're being resolved. And what I'm having trouble understanding is why it's so difficult for the police department to be able to get its arms around what its employees are ordering. And that I'm glad this is coming forward now, because it sounds as though the purchasing practices before were ones that didn't have a lot of control, that didn't maybe have a lot of criteria about what was being ordered. So I'm glad for these changes, and I'm not going to stop the report today. But what I do want to hear back on, and would appreciate that it come to government efficiency, and I ask that of the Budget and Finance Chair who serves on that committee, that in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, we hear a progress report on what are these changes that are being called for and how do they impact Prima going forward. And so I would ask that that come to Government Efficiency Committee at its August 7th meeting. I'll ask for the concurrence of the chair before we finish with this.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? Mr. Wax?
I'd like to support and back up what Ms. Chick said, but a little further history, however. When we were first trying to initiate Prima 2000, while some departments like the fire department were resisting, the police department was being the most cooperative at the time in saying that they want to participate in it. So there is a history that they have tried to make this work, and so I take all of this in a constructive way and think we'll reach constructive solution.
Thank you, Mr. Wax. Is there any other council member that would like to be heard on item number 4? Mrs. Chair.
So just point of order, I'm asking that a report on item 2 of this recommendation come to GE committee starting August 7th, every 2 weeks for an update.
Is there any objection to that request by the chair of the committee?
LAPD Controller and General Services Prima. I want it to go forward.
Yeah, not to hold it up, but rather to have reports on progress pursuant to it, right?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
Correct.
that's fine.
Is there any objection by any council member to that request by the chair of GE? Without objection, that'll be part of this. Mr. Clerk, open the roll on item number 4 as amended by Mrs. Chick and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That item is approved forthwith. Next item. Why don't we take the ordinances? We have 12.
Item number 1 and 7 are ordinances.
Okay, we have items number
1 and
through
7.
1 and 7. Mr. Holden, are you calling item number 1 special?
I did. I call it special. All right. I just think that we should know the significant difference as to what's being recommended compared to what was before the ad hoc committee on charter reform. And maybe Ms. Chick can explain that very well before I even comment. I think it's essential that we and the public, other members of the council and the public, be made aware of what's before us.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Item 1 is dealing with the guidelines that the new charter directs the council to create, with which the mayor will work, or within which the mayor will determine merit pay increases, and there is the range of also doing decreases. The recommendation before you, I have at the recommendation of our city attorney to make a verbal amendment, which I will do shortly, that deletes item 2 on your committee, 2D on your committee report, which gave, in a sense, a sunset clause to the guidelines. These are not going to be, in all likelihood, the final guidelines, colleagues. What we're asking for is for a committee to come back and make recommendations after they look at some comparable salaries in other government and private sector entities, after they look at some of the issues of offering, what is it called, when when someone has an employee contract and they're let go without
Severance.
Packages, exactly, and severance contract clauses. So what's before you is basically keeping the salary ranges, the guidelines at their current levels, and looking to, as speedily as possible, and certainly within the next handful of months, within 6 months, come forward with recommendations to you for permanent guidelines and more carefully thought out ones. So the amendment is to take Section 2D of the Ad Hoc Charter Implementation Report and delete it. The city attorney states that this section could be construed as inconsistent with the other recommendations in the report. For example, we are recommending that the permanent guidelines be established as soon as possible, that the committee and council make final determinations in December and January, respectively. So I ask for your support and look forward to completing the work very shortly.
Thank you. So let me just understand, what we're doing is the committee report minus item
4D.
2D.
I'm sorry, 2D.
Got it. Okay. Ms. Goldberg.
Actually, just so that everyone knows, we're really talking about any that are left over for 98, 99, and 99, 2000, because for the current year, 2000, 2001, we're not involved in it at all anymore. Is that correct?
Well, the city council would still establish the guidelines.
Right.
So
but I
until
mean,
you establish the permanent
actually-
guidelines, they would
right,
stay, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear to everybody, though,
Right.
so that
We get to set them, we don't get to apply them.
That's exactly right. I just wanted everybody to be clear about that our role is dramatically changing here. I think that was the only point I wanted to make.
Okay, Mr. Holden.
There were other matters before the policy committee which gave the executive branch extreme latitude in terms of making salary adjustments for general managers that would far exceed any adjustments for any employee in any industry in America, which meant that some of the general managers could go $250,000, $300,000, and so on. It'd be out of control. And with that, having made that statement, Ms. Chick, would you kindly respond to paragraph 7 or recommendation 7, which stipulates that the guidelines set forth herein shall apply to the setting or adjustments of compensation for chief administrative officers by the mayor or other authorized evaluating bodies, beginning with the salary adjustments. Is that for the year 99, 2000, this fiscal year?
Well, it's for this fiscal year. It's 99, 2000 evaluations, and it's also for 2000, 2001 until we come back with what I'm calling the permanent guidelines.
All right,
So it does apply for this current fiscal
So
year.
nothing's going to change other than what we've been recommending. So with that loophole latitude that's being requested for the executive branch, that is not so included. Is that correct? Is that a correct statement?
That's correct.
Okay, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved. Do we need a forthwith on that one? Next item.
Item number 7 is the ordinance. The ordinance were held on the desk from previous, and now it's time to act on number 7.
Okay, item number 7. Anybody have anything to say? That's good. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 8 called special by Councilmember Wax.
Mr. Wax, could you hit the speaker button, please?
Well, I called 8 and 9 mainly because I want an explanation of exactly what we have and why we're doing this.
Okay, let's see if we can get you an explanation. We have anybody here?
Well, I'm looking that we're giving raises beyond the raises that we bargained for of a substantial amount. The question is why? How much? Why? What's the rationale for it, et cetera?
The requested changes were a consequence of a class consolidation. This item was considered by EERC and then subsequently the full council, and I believe both were approved, and now we're dealing with the ordinance. But basically what happened is that the working with the personnel department, a number of engineering classes, or classes listed here in the on the agenda, were consolidated. And so you had some assistant positions consolidated with the associate positions. And as a consequence, we negotiated an appropriate salary structure for the new classification. So it's not giving new money to the same classes, but it's a consequence of a new classification structure for that particular job series.
Okay? Now hit the speaker.
Why are we upgrading 238 employees at a cost of $1.2 million annually? What is the rationale for that? What is the justification for it?
It's there are some employees who were at the assistant level, and through the consolidation, we consolidated the assistants and the associates, and so the consolidation, in a sense, results in an upgrade for the individuals. But in turn, they're also being held to, they're performing more responsible duties and functions, and a consequence, we should pay them accordingly.
Well, who did those duties before that they're now assuming?
The ones who were already in the other class. Maybe Ms. Goldberg, who is next to speak, can respond.
I would say
to some of this.
it would be the same employees, but this is very, very typical. We've done this with other class consolidations.
Well, just because it's typical. I'm still trying to understand what benefit the city is getting out of this in return for paying this additional money. What is the benefit that inures to the city?
Well, in basic terms, when you have a consolidation, you increase management's flexibility to assign staff to different functions or responsibilities.
It's not very convincing.
well,
So, maybe Ms. Goldberg can.
Maybe she can, and if not, I'll have a try at it too. Go ahead, Ms. Goldberg.
Okay, class consolidation is extremely controversial within the ranks of employees, because virtually every time we do this, and we've been doing this for the 7 years I've been chairing personnel, virtually every time you do it, some people go up, some stay the same, some go down. Even the ones that stay the same and go down perceive it as, the ones that go up perceive it as a loss. I know it sounds funny because they may get more money in their pocket, but they thought they had a shot at something that the consolidation now broadens the pool of people who can apply for the next advancement. And that makes it much more competitive. In the analysis of these things, what happens is that we begin to look class by class at things which, because of time changes and technology changes, and that's true of this group in particular, we would be better off having a very broad pool of people with more generic classifications so that they can be used and changed and moved around within large departments or even between departments more easily. What that makes possible, and why we do class consolidations and why employees often resist them, is it gives management a much wider look at a large number of employees. For different specific jobs that they need, but they can. I'm not doing very well in explaining this.
No, you're doing a very good job.
Okay, but they do it within a broader band. Therefore, you can really literally take advantage of the various aspects of it and opportunities for cross-training, which allow everybody to gain additional skills, means that you have an elevated workforce. The problem is when you consolidate, they were not all on the same salary schedule. One of the things we have done traditionally, and this is not unusual, is we've taken kind of a middling number of the various classes being consolidated and set that as the class. Sometimes, depending on the professional degrees required, we take a very high one of the numbers. In this case, because most of these folks have professional degrees, and we will now insist the ones that don't have it get them in order to stay in the class, they'll be what they call it, Z-rated until they get to those professional degrees, we're going to end up elevating a whole group of people in the workforce to a much higher skill level. That's the additional money says you only get that money if you meet the new requirements. But we expect that they all will, and that's why the total dollar amount is listed here.
And the savings through the implementation that in the future, the city would save much more than that if it works the way you're
Well,
explaining
that's
it.
the theory,
That's
but
the theory.
even more important than that, you are much more able to get the right people in the right positions without having to go back and try to argue.
Did the Mayor Reardon support this in EERC?
Yes.
It was
He did,
unanimous.
yes.
It was unanimous.
Thank you.
And actually, the whole goal, the whole drive to consolidate positions has come primarily from the mayor's office.
Okay.
Okay. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, that was item 8. We still have item 9. Is this, Joel, are we more or less having the same conversation, or is this a different one?
Very touchy issue with me, and I'd like
Okay, would you
an explanation
please
of
hit the
this.
speaker button?
'Cause I
No,
think
'cause
that
overtime is a touchy issue with me, too.
Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead.
I
Go
have
ahead.
complained in the past of DWP giving excessive overtime, and we had made some changes, and then we fell back again in a recent debate, which we had an unpleasant battle in this council. Someone tell me why you are now even increasing or making more flexible the overtime in DWP, because I think the DWP is at a place where people making up to $120,000, $30,000 can be earning overtime, which is outrageous.
Actually, this was a technical adjustment to bring the DWP and this particular unit in compliance with FLSA to reduce the amount of overtime they could accumulate.
Yeah, but we had this debate on this council because of making, quote, equal, making, Mr. McCarley, when he was there, I believe, permitted people at excessively high salaries to be getting overtime, and then we sort of raised everybody. We raised the whole level up to that so that people in the department are able to make overtime at a far greater salary than people in the rest of the city, if I remember correctly. And I want to know how this then makes savings in light of that policy.
Well, this particular amendment was recommended by our city attorney because, again, this reduces...
By our city attorney?
Yes. This reduces the employee's ability to accumulate overtime, and this will bring us into compliance with FLSA. And as you know, we've had several large FLSA-related lawsuits. And so this actually protects the city. It's the amendment that the unit, the employees didn't request. It's management who requested this change to bring this unit within compliance.
Ms. Goldberg.
Say basically that. This is actually coming from management and the city attorney, and it deals with the fact that if you can accumulate under FLSA a certain number of hours, you have to start doing some things to get rid of that overtime. We had done that already in the MOU with other portions of management employees below a certain salary level, because above it you don't get any overtime at all. And now this simply does for the remainder of that unit what we had already done to others. It was an oversight that it wasn't all done in the first place. And the city attorney's office brought it to the attention of management, and then it came to EERC, and we supported it, which is why I waived it through personnel.
Did you? Okay. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 20, called special by Councilmember Chick.
Forthwith on 8 and 9, please. And 22, there's a question mark. Did we do 22? All right, forthwith on 22. Okay, Mrs. Chick, you called item 20 special. Could you hit the speaker
Yes,
thing?
I did.
ahead,
Colleagues,
Ms.
while the recommendation here is note and file, I want to draw your attention to a very serious and growing problem we're all facing in the city, and also to tell you that I'm very much not happy with this report, and I'm basically filing it, sending it to you for note and file out of frustration of not having a lot of other avenues in terms of going forward to solve the problem. The problem is deferred maintenance, the crumbling of our city facilities, and Mr. Zavornich, I know you certainly had one on your hands, and you've beautifully remodeled it now, the San Pedro City Hall. But I'm talking not about aesthetic issues. I'm talking about those millions of dollars every year we're spending in workers' comp payouts because we have workers being injured because of Cal OSHA violations, because of deferred maintenance issues. We have city employees and the public in danger of being injured, and those are liability and dollar issues as well as human safety issues. We had a very comprehensive report on workers' comp presented to Government Efficiency Committee. The then CAO, now OR's office, and their risk management specialist made a very in-depth report with a lot of recommendations. One of them was to turn to our Department of General Services, that's in charge of city facilities, and ask them to come forward with a plan to deal with these deferred maintenance and loss prevention problems. The report before you basically says we can't do it. It's too big a problem, it costs too much money. In the meantime, and I want to turn to city staff and ask some questions, a contract has gone through Budget and Finance Committee from ORS to hire a consultant to do some kind of loss prevention survey looking at city facilities. What I'd like to know is what is the overlap between that and what I have been trying to get accomplished looking to General Services for assistance? And also, is this now, am I understanding correctly, in the new Office of Finance, working with the mayor rather than housed CAO office, the OR's office? And then finally, colleagues, I have requested, because it can only be a request, the newly formed Office of Finance to come to council quarterly and make reports to us on the progress of loss prevention, dealing with issues of deferred maintenance. But I'm especially interested in Cal OSHA violations, since we demand the private sector to comply. What are we doing about our compliance and our city worker safety? So,
I'm Richard Welch, Director of Risk Management, Office of Finance. We have right now contracts with 2 professional safety consultants who are doing in-depth analyses of the larger departments. Street Services is just about finished up, and Rec and Parks, we expect the preliminary report within the very near future. Those consultants were instructed to look not only at workplace safety, but operational liability, so the health and safety of the employees and the public with whom they deal, all the people that come onto city property. They're looking at ways to change procedures to operate more safely, as well as defects in the physical premises. When we get the comprehensive report, we intend to try to prioritize those physical defects, and working with the Department Management and General Services, identify the things that need immediate attention, especially with respect to Cal OSHA fines. As you noted, we are now subject to Cal OSHA fines, and we're finding that we're being subjected to them for this exact kind of thing. We're being written up, and we appeal each one, and some of them, the appeals work, some of them they don't. One of the problems we have, and this was noted in one of the reports you got from the Joint Labor Management Committee on Employee Safety, is that the city is way understaffed with safety professionals relative to the standards in the industry. And their recommendation was to add about 30 or 40 safety professionals. We have on board right now 3 for the city at large, one that was just started this budget year for Recreation and Parks, one for Street Services, which hasn't been filled yet, and then the 4 that we're working at Sanitation, Hyperion, have been consolidated into the Department of Sanitation. So we're woefully understaffed. We have a total of 6 positions. We do have authority to hire a safety administrator as soon as the Personnel Department gives that bulletin, prepares that bulletin and releases it. and we'll fill the 2 safety engineer positions as soon as we can. But our intention was to use these safety consultant reports one at a time on each of the larger departments to identify the priority needs and recommend the appropriate level safety professional for that department, rather than willy-nilly just hiring a bunch of people without any consistent citywide plan. So we're attacking it on a progressive incremental basis, and we're willing to make quarterly reports. We'll certainly do that, assuming the new director of finance, when he's hired, concurs, or he or she.
Mrs. Chick, I just want to note before I start your clock here that this is a recommendation from you, I believe, to note and file the report.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And we are noting and filing, but in the meantime, this other step and this other effort is going forward, and I think it would be most interesting every time we get a lawsuit settlement in here that has to do with deferred maintenance or Cal OSHA violations to pay attention to how we're being penny wise and pound foolish, spending the money at the back end for being sued or workers' comp costs instead of complying with Cal OSHA. I didn't realize that we were being written up. I'm not happy even that we're going and appealing if we really are having problems and we're endangering our workers and we're endangering the public. We're violating state and federal laws and we're losing money on it. So I'm glad that that's going forward, and I look forward to the risk management team working with General Services once we learn what needs to be done. I look forward to those reports in government efficiency. Thank you.
Okay, item 20 is before us, to note and file. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item is
Item number 24E, called special by Councilmember Pacheco.
Mr. Pacheco. Mr. Pacheco, he was here a minute ago.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
There you are. Okay, go ahead. Could you hit the speaker button, please?
Yes.
Somebody
Actually,
hit the speaker.
I'm going to punt and defer to my colleague, Ms. Walters. We had some amendments we were going to make on 24E, and she wasn't here earlier, so I called it special. But Ms. Walters and I have worked some things out, so Ms. Walters has.
Thank you, Mr. Pacheco. We are trying to work these amendments out, and I thought we had them ready, but there's still a little uncertainty here, and I'd like to leave it on the desk till Friday. This is Friday.
Tuesday.
Leave it to Tuesday.
Just
Is that
continue
okay
it
with
until
you?
Tuesday? Okay.
All right.
Is that all right?
Leave it on the desk till Tuesday.
All right, we'll just continue that item until Tuesday.
That's July 25th.
July 25th, right. The remaining items are closed session items, and before we go into closed session, I just want to let you all know that because we are looking at ballot measures which we may choose to put on the ballot in April, you will be getting a letter from me today inquiring as to your interest in writing the ballot arguments either for or against. And this is based on, I'm asking you to sign up or not sign up for all of the measures that have been tentatively approved. If we wind up not approving them, you won't get to write a ballot argument. But we need to hear back from you no later than 5 p.m. on July 28th, a week from today, I believe. Or somebody else will get the chance to do it. So you will get that letter later on. Okay, let's recess our regular meeting and go to our special meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Burton, Chick, Fiore, Galan, Trigober, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley, Thomas, Orange, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 12 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. We have just one item, and we do have some people who wish to be heard on item 1. Mr. Ridley Thomas, do you want a presentation or anything before I call on the public?
Madam President, to the extent that it's necessary, I would say so, but otherwise, I rise to move both committee reports because they complement each other, and that way we'll have a comprehensive policy that we will adopt.
All right, now I understand that a public hearing has been held. The only people who have asked to speak are the Milanopoulos brothers. If I hear a motion, I'll call on them, and if I don't...
Your pleasure, Madam President.
That's council's pleasure.
All right.
Does anybody wish to move another public hearing on this? No. No. All right. In that case, Mr. Ridley Thomas has moved, and did you want to add anything to that? Has moved both items? No. No, no, no. All right, so Mr. Ridley Thomas, you're through for the moment, or?
I am, is essentially the report of the ad hoc committee on gang violence and juvenile justice, as well as the budget and finance committee. They have both met and unanimously recommended adoption of the proposal for the summer youth employment program to be reinstituted to the tune of $2 million. The Community Development Department, as well as the ORs, both have worked on this diligently. We have the possibility now of employing some 1,700 to 2,000 young people during the month of August. And I think given that which is going on in communities throughout the city, it is a good thing to do, it's a proper thing to do, and we should celebrate being able to do so. I recommend a unanimous vote.
Mr. Hernandez.
Madam Chair, members of the council, I rise for several reasons. First, I rise to support the recommendations, but I think it's important that we don't necessarily limit the Summer Youth Employment Program to LA Unified School District. Members, and I know several aren't paying attention right now, and I need you to pay a little attention because there's some realities we should start facing. The current summer youth job program we have is for about 2,300 students. And last year, we had about 13,500. And so very few people understand that the federal government cut the program and that we've taken actions that limited that program to basically youth whose families are part of the welfare system, the TANF program. Now, we're taking some of the monies of the underspent block grant. And I want you to understand, when I say the underspent block grant, several of you had projects on line items that are being considered for that regard. But we're taking monies from the underspent block grant, transferring it over to street maintenance so that we can release some funds from the general fund for purposes of this additional funding up to $2 million for summer youth jobs. So I basically support that whole concept, and I don't have a problem with that concept. But what I do want us to understand is because of the limitations of the funding, because of the limitations of the number of jobs that we create, I think we want to be able to leverage that money to whatever vehicle is possible. And so, for example, Catholic Charities called and said if it's limited to LA Unified School District, how much of it is their administrative cost in implementing a program? And so I wanted the department to have the liberty to be able to look at how we leverage the job creation portion of this recommendation. And in no way should we be fooled in thinking we're satisfying the need of the youth in the city of Los Angeles. This is an additional effort to what's currently before us, and that's why I believe we have to support it, we should support it, but the reality is the number of youth jobs that's going to be available this particular summer is probably 1/3 of what we made available last year, and that was a reduction from the year before. I think we have to do everything we can to create opportunities for young people so that they have choices in life that are positive, and that's why I support the recommendations before us.
Mr. Fewer.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to rise to commend our colleague, Mr. Ridley Thomas, for bringing this matter forward. Obviously, all of us believe that we have to be doing a much better job to create summer opportunities for kids. And as Mr. Hernandez has noted, we are trying to fill a gap created because of a lack of leadership in Washington. One of the recommendations to emerge from the Budget Committee was to have us begin now, collectively, the mayor and the city council together with our advocates in Washington, to work to assure that next summer we're not in this position again. Because as Mike pointed out, all of us believe this is a critical thing to do, but it is not going to resolve the entirety of the issue. It's going to begin to touch the issue because every expert on gang activity from whom we have heard in the past 5 years, from Father Boyle to academics at USC and UCLA, has said the same thing, that the most effective antidote to dealing with gang violence is to put jobs in the community. Everybody says the same thing. But yet we receive cuts from the federal government to provide those very jobs, and the city is left to react to that at the last minute. We can do better. So we should be looking to this as an important step. We should be looking to work together to try to assure that next year we have a better summer jobs program, a much more pervasive one, with the help of our leaders in Washington, D.C. And obviously, we should continue to focus our anti-gang activity not only on the preventative work that Bridges engages in, but at assuring that there are more jobs available, because especially as the kids get older, that is going to be where the action is.
Mr. Wax.
No, I obviously support this and applaud my colleagues, but I do have to say that it is a bitter irony, I think, members of council, that at the very time we're recognizing the tremendous need for our youth in the summer with the motions we have before us, the city itself is closing down for several weeks in August during all of the police youth gang diversion programs. PALS, Jeopardies, DAP, Explorers are all going to be shut down from periods of 1 to 3 weeks because of the redeployment of personnel to convention training. And I think that that is a real tragedy that is happening at the very time we recognize this acute need as evidenced by this motion.
Very close to the other side of the freeway. Mr. Holden.
Maybe I missed what Mr. Thomas was saying. I'm concerned about B4 and B6. Maybe something to do with B5 as well. Let's start with B6. You're going to direct the legislative analyst with the concurrence of the mayor to pursue this issue in Washington, referring to the jobs issue. I think it would be my thinking that this should, when you say legislative analyst, the issue, which is a legislative matter, that is something that should be reviewed by the IGR committee. I would think that. So for the purpose of finalizing and executing and expediting, we might, before the mayor sees, for his concurrence, should take it to the process, and that is IGR committee as it relates to 6.
Yeah, 6 only.
Right. Yeah, okay. And on 5, instruct and direct CD to prepare some report back January 1st. This is for fiscal 2001-2002. By that time, I think we'll have a new administration, so therefore, we should have something that's finalized legislatively, that is in terms of what the policy is. Now, Mr. Thomas, on B4, and you might have explained it, but let me just ask again. To authorize the general manager, CDD, or designee to negotiate and execute a contract with the Los Angeles Unified School District to operate the city's Summer Job 2000 program for an amount not to exceed $2 million. We can't do that ourselves?
No, apparently not, Mr. Holden, but those organizations that have been a part of the Summer Youth Employment Program will be notified pursuant to our adoption of the action before us, and they will be involved, those very organizations that have the specific ability and niche expertise to work with the populations that we most specifically want to impact. So it won't be just a regular school program.
Just my concern is that when you put it in a different umbrella, which is the Unified School District, the administration there might take a long time?
No, to the contrary. That's why CDD has recommended.
Are they ready to go as we speak?
Far more ready than CDD would be, and that's the reason for it.
Well, maybe we ought to put CDD over there.
We're prepared to entertain the motion pursuant to the president's consent.
All right.
That's why we sent Lillian over there to fix CDD. Okay, so we have the item before us, and will somebody clarify for me with respect to item 6, Mr. Ridley Thomas? What are we doing with respect to number 6?
Mr. Holden, as chair of IGR, has requested being able to
We're going to
review
refer
it.
item 6
So
to IGR.
that and that alone.
Okay, and the rest of it is before us at this moment. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Okay, I believe we are now prepared to adjourn the special meeting and resume the regular meeting. We have two people who wish to be heard on public comment, and we have 3 closed session items. I think in fairness to the public, we ought to do the public comment first. And Mr. Holden, would you like to introduce our first speaker?
Right, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ihani Owezuke. You can speak over there, the mic over there. He heads up a Dr. U Foundation. He's a product of one of the private high schools, I think, in West L.A., and he's a football player for the 49ers, and also moved on to Pittsburgh, 3 years up there, 1 year with Pittsburgh, and his new team is going to be acquiring him very soon. So he's going to talk about a program that he's developed for our young people. He's giving something back to the community. Folks are anyway.
We do have one other speaker after you and a total 10 minutes allotted, so I just want to let you know that before you start.
I just
Go
want
ahead.
to thank you, Council, for allowing me to appear before you today, and Mr. Holden for inviting me here. Essentially, it's quite ironic that my name is Ihani Uwezuke, and I would like to correct his comments. I spent last year with the Detroit Lions and the previous 3 with the San Francisco 49ers. For the past 4 years of my life, I've been involved in the National Football League, and it always amazes me to this point, with everything that I've experienced in those 4 years, still to date, the most cherished experience of my life is my preparatory school experience. With that having been said, I established the Dr. U Foundation some 4 years ago, and it's dedicated to the enrichment of underprivileged and socioeconomically disenfranchised youth. And it's ironic that Mr. Hernandez made his comments today where he said that that summer jobs were a good alleyway to diverting young people from trouble. Well, the foundation, the Dr. U Foundation, takes the position that creating a balance between school and sports is a proper channel to diverting kids from trouble. The 2 main goals of the foundation are to establish a scholarship endowment at prominent preparatory institutions, college preparatory institutions, and also to align with the White House initiative against bridging the digital divide. Our annual program is called the Uwezuke's Books and Ball Clinic, where we utilize NFL and other professional athletes as a medium to encourage kids to focus on that balance between school and sports. We feel that if this equilibrium can be established early on in life, then the problems of gang violence, corruption, petty theft, and things of that nature that take place later on in adolescence or even adult life can be avoided. We're currently also embarking in a field trip in conjunction with FILA and its Summer Pro League, which is a basketball Pro-Am league, and they furnished us with some tickets that we have in turn given over to the USC Lions Center. And annually, the Lions Center sponsors a youth program where they put kids through programs similar to what Uwezuke's Books and Ball Camp focuses on. They do everything from theater to scholastic aptitude to SAT prep to just keeping the kids well-rounded and off the streets in the summertime. We're furnishing the kids with 30 tickets as a field trip and as a reward for their good performance throughout the summer. We're providing them with photo ops with some of the NBA players that will be at the Summer Pro League game. And we'd also like to thank Councilman Nate Holden's office, who has offered to provide the bus for this field trip. So essentially what I just wanted to appear here today to say to the council, we welcome all of your support, any support that you might want to provide to the program. It is a program that we are extremely proud of, and we do get a great turnout from a number of NFL participants annually. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll hear from,
I want
thank
to
you,
say
Mr.
that
Holden.
he attended high school Westlake right there in Mr. Fierce District. So this gentleman did.
You're showing us that football players don't have to all be 6'7" and 275 pounds. Thank you for making all of us have some hope. Ms. Wanda Solomon, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is Ms. Solomon here? I can't see around the post. If Ms. Wanda Solomon is not available, that closes our public comment period. And you know what? We're going to recess into closed session. If you're not here on closed session items, ask you to leave, please. And we have a potential quorum issue. Has Ms. Goldberg left? Okay. Has Mr. Lee Thomas left? Is Mark still here? Gail, is Mark still here? All right. All right, just colleagues, we are down to 10, so unless...
May I beg your pardon that I can present my...
Ms. Solomon, we are about to go into closed session.
Just take 2 minutes. I got 15 copies. I got something for everyone. Councilman Fuhrer, please.
All right, we will
Thank you.
withhold going into our closed session for 2 minutes
Okay.
for Ms. Solomon to make her statement. Ms. Solomon, to be clear, we had closed public comment and you weren't here, so please be very brief.
I will. Thank you very much, Councilman Fuhrer. I was just here to speak on housing, and since I have a copy for each one of you, I will do that. And Mr. Holden, I wanted to let him know, and Ms. Goldberg, how much I appreciate what I've been reading about and hearing about concerning city housing. So I will present a copy to each one of you. You can read it at your own leisure, and please get back with me. My name and phone number is enclosed for a copy of each of you. And I just wanted to remind you, there's a terrible shortage of housing in the city, and I have a claim, and I was hoping Ms. Goldberg could help Mr. Holden and Councilman Fuhrer work with him on that issue, and please get back with me on that. I'm sorry I stepped out briefly, but I commend you in what you're doing and look forward to seeing you again, hopefully at the August 7th meeting, prior to our big convention. Thank you, Mr. Fuhrer.
Thank you, Ms. Solomon.
All right,
Certainly.
then. Thank
All
you.
right, now, we will now recess into closed session. For real this time. Double dog true. We're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah, I know. All right, we're back in. We'll have an opportunity in half a second. All right, just stay cool. We're ready to go here. Okay, we're back in open session. We have item 34B before us.
30B.
Oh, excuse me, 30B, pardon me. Prepare the roll and tabulate the vote.
8 ayes, 2 noes.
All right, that matter is approved. Items 30A and C are continued. Ms. Goldberg.
Consider the matter concerning the permits at LAX for airlines.
Any opposition to reconsideration? Seeing none, the matter is deemed reconsidered.
I move that we approve the permits and leave the item in council until Tuesday.
Okay, colleagues, we've heard the motion. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote. What, tabulate the vote, please?
Should be done by
10 ayes.
10 ayes, that matter is approved.
And leave it on the desk, please.
All right. Colleagues, we are about to conclude. Conrad, our next item?
Motions for posting and referral.
Okay, they'll be deemed posted and referred. Next item?
A request to be excused. Referral request to be excused July 25th through August 18th for personal business, meets policy.
Without objection, that's approved.
The desk is clear.
All right. Adjourning motions. Are there any adjourning motions?
Of course he does.
Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Are you going to go see him? Is he home?
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. President.